No job, no safety net. What was driving that leap of faith?
If I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. And also, people are living and hating their lives, and I don't want to be one of those.
Edgaras, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
I always like to start with a quick challenge. Can you give us what you do and why you do it all in one sentence?
My company's name is Ray Nexus. What I do is I focus on integrations, and why do we do it? Is we've seen a massive rise of boomer owners, and we just want to help them take the stress away from not having anyone to take over their company. We'll continue the legacy of their company and also protect the culture and the people within the business.
Many people talk about speed, but few actually execute at the pace that you do. Let's start with your own journey because you've been an operator, an acquirer, and a founder. What was the moment that you realized I don't just want to build one company, I want to build a system that can scale many?
Very easy. It was when I first founded my first company was within construction. I built out a system that worked really well. I sold the company, and then when I moved on to the second company, I think is when I had the epiphany. It was a tech company, and I again built out the system, and then moved on to integrating new systems for the company that we sold my company to. And I realized that if we just focus on not only communication, but also pre-planning the executions, I realized that pre-acquisition work is probably one of the most important parts of any acquisition. And with that, I built out a very good team. I've done a lot more work than I've previously done. And I think I've got the mindset of not being shy to say that this person has more experience than me. I'm very open to learning and understanding and even finding solutions to things I've never even looked at before. And then when we introduced AI into this, oh man, it changed everything for us. I think not only the organization, but also going through explaining things to people that might not understand how we talk within the the acquisition M&A space.
What are a couple of specific AI functionalities that are really changing the game? There's a lot of AI automation and things like that, but is there anything in particular that like really wowed you and your team?
For me, my main job is finding synergies, finding gaps, and obviously from that, create an integration plan that will work for the company that we're acquiring. Ways to merge new ideas, new processes, and I guess new foundations. I think AI helped with the process, made it a lot faster to just scour through all the documents that we go through. We've just partnered up with another company called Collabra, a fantastic company. The CEO and founder is actually in Palo Alto in California with me, and he's going to be growing out the California DFX community with me too. So he understands what we're doing on all levels, which is great. But what he built out was a platform that helps us hone in all the documents with all the people that needs to be in there, and it can read through all the documents as it needs to, organize everything that needs to be prioritized, and I think it halved the time of due diligence for us. And after due diligence for, I'll say, a low to mid-sized company takes around 4, 5, 6 months with delays. You'll be lucky to get it within 3 months. I think with Collabra, with the AI agents that we have, as well as my team, we can get that down to 2 to 3 months easily. And that includes some delays as well. So it's getting more efficient, and I'm sure we can get that down to a month at some point.
Wow. Wow.
With, I'll say
Yeah.
I mean, human psychology, we're going to miss a lot, right? We're going to maybe skim read one part and take a deeper look into something else. And I think what AI does is just scour through everything in so much detail that, it's less likely that we can make that human error if human and AI sort of like work together.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. That it's really good, like holistically, AI can really catch some gaps that humans make, and then vice versa. It's like we really need to catch
Yeah.
the hallucinations of AI, and it's like it goes both ways in different ways. And I think
Yeah.
that's why the technician, the user of AI, like must be, proficient in the actual task. That's why it's so important, right? Let's talk about DFX. Offering that level of deal flow at $20 to $30 a month is extremely disruptive. What's powering that model behind the scenes to, be able to go to the market at that price point?
I think what Jesse found within the market, because he's been in the market himself, so have I. And it's always that first engagement of, say, I think the smallest amount that I found was like $5,000 per year for the bare minimum for like, just connect with like maybe one or two of financing firms. But when you're raising finances, you need to be connected with firms a lot faster with a lot more volume. And well, when Jesse brought this idea about, the effects out, just say something. I was like number 5 in signing up to DFX. So I'm very proud of that. I think the competitiveness is being able to provide a service for a lot of people like me that need financing very quickly and get connected to people that can provide that. I believe the reason why it's at such a low price point is because the financing firms, they share the referral fees and they get their own fees from the lending firm. So it's nothing comes out of, say, the person that puts up deals up on DFX. It's just that 30-40 bucks per month, which is fantastic because DFX 2.0 is actually launching, and it will give the user on both sides a lot more usability, I guess, and ways to connect with more founders, more financing firms, and just a way to connect with communities wherever they are, whether they're in California
Mhm.
or communities in Atlanta have been grown out really, really well, as well as Boston and New York. They've been having a lot of events. And essentially, what Jesse found is a platform that brings people together, not because of greed, but because of the idea the more people there are, the more help there is, and the more people can find ways to work together. And I share that ideology with Jesse. And I think that's why me and him work well together as well.
Yeah, I can sense from, how you talk about your team, your collaborators, partnerships, community, that collaboration is really important to you, your philosophy of work and building businesses.
Number one for me is integrity. Is how do they handle the falls, and how do they handle the uprises? Do they celebrate with the team, or do they allow the team to celebrate them? I think that comes with sort of like the boss and leader mentality. I've been in sort of like the 9 to 5 field. I started out as an engineer for a pretty large engineering firm back in the UK. I've done a lot more work with private equity firms and everything else like that. Greed comes in so many different shapes and sizes. And one of the easiest way to find whether a founder is for themselves or actually there to protect the people and the legacy of their business is how do they treat the people and themselves and the company when there's shortfalls within the company and when there's increases where there's an equity in revenue in contracts and everything else like that. Um, a boss is telling people what to do. A leader shows them how to do it and they do it with them. I've been through some partnerships that didn't work out. I've learned a lot of lessons and I feel like that's the best way to learn most of the time, where you just fail forward. My mom said something to me when I was maybe around 10, when I first started like doing some entrepreneurial stuff. You have to give it your 100% to a person, to a situation, to a business deal, because then you'll know that if you back out of it or something goes wrong, you can absolutely say that you given it your all.
So I just really resonate with that. If you can take us back to just around 3 years ago when you stepped off the plane in the US with no job, no safety net, what was driving that leap of faith?
I think it was my upbringing. For a long time, it was just me and my mum, and I had to grow up really fast. And the whole idea of being a protector of not only mentally, physically, but also financially was sort of pressed in me at a very young age. And I'd say that's what gave me the idea of, if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. And also, people were living and hating their lives, and I don't want to be one of those. I'm present. I like to be there not only for the people, but also for whether it's my family, whether it's my friends, whether it's people that I meet on the streets, and meet strangers that have become my friends, which I've got quite a lot of them, luckily. But it was that true grit that it's either this, I've got nothing to lose. And I returned to that sort of that 9 to 5 stuff that didn't resonate to me. And I think something my mom said to me when I was doing my second company is, I see the fire in you, Eddie, but there's something more that you're meant to be doing. So after I saw that company, I sat down with that thought, with that sentence within me for about a month, maybe two. And I said to myself, maybe I'm meant for more.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm meant to help more people. Maybe I'm meant to do more. So that fire in me, I every day I try to keep it alight. And it's not the motivation that keeps it alight, it's the discipline of my family members, the people around me, and myself that keep me going. As an entrepreneur, as a founder, as anyone within life that is looking for hope and looking to continue going and doing something that maybe you're really scared to do. If you're scared to do it regardless. Do it scared, right? And also, what would your future self say in this moment if you gave up? How would you look at yourself if you gave up at the pinnacle point of whether it's your business, whether it's maybe your lifestyle choices? It's the idea of doing everything intentionally, seeing how your future self will see you if you just continue going for one more day.